them setting up the narrative that's going to be followed by the false flag to blame conservatives and then to roll out the Biden police state to put everybody under the thumb of a authoritarian, brutal, oppressive regime, which is a waypoint to mass extermination and global depopulation. See? So they know they've got to take away the guns from everybody, and in order to take away the guns, they have to have the narrative and the false flag operation, and then, the problem, reaction, solution. So that is all coming, and my concern is that this is going to happen very soon, in the next maybe 60 days or something, maybe 90 days. It's going to happen very soon because they need the Insurrection Act to try to seize more power before the military moves against Biden. Now, yes, the military is still prepared to move against Biden, who is an illegitimate, illegal, fake president who did not win and whose so-called victory was only augmented by cyber warfare activities from foreign enemies of the United States, notably China, an aggressor nation. And maybe half of America knows this by now, but as I've discussed before, the military needs Biden to be even less popular than he is now in order to get what they see as a sufficient number of Americans to support their actions when they move against this illegal fake president who has carried out a cyber warfare coup against the United States of America. So there's a race of the clock here. So the military wants to move on Biden as quickly as possible, but Biden's too popular at the moment. The Biden regime wants to move against the American people as quickly as possible, but they need to set up a false flag operation to get it done. You see? So both of these groups are racing against each other to see who can achieve victory first. Now, at the same time that that's going on, by the way, there's a lot of tension between China and Taiwan. And Taiwan is being threatened again by China, who just announced that if Taiwan declares independence, that is equivalent to declaring war, and China is once again threatening to invade Taiwan. Now, I believe this is a test to see how the Biden regime will react to China's threat of CCP aggression against the independent nation of Taiwan. Given that former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo had announced that he was dropping the one China policy favored by mainland China, and that he was recognizing essentially Taiwan as an independent nation, and also Pompeo declaring that China was engaged in acts of genocide and crimes against humanity, it was very clear that China preferred Biden in the White House, especially since China has all the goods on the Biden family. Hunter Biden's laptop files, extortion files, blackmail files, financial records, and so on. China runs the Biden family. So yes, they preferred Biden in office. So now China is running a test to see how will Biden's administration, in other words, Biden's Secretary of State, Biden's Director of National Intelligence, and so on, how will they react if China engages in some saber rattling against Taiwan? This is a probing kind of maneuver by China to find out how will Biden react. And if Biden shows any weakness whatsoever, it's going to prove once again to the American people that Biden is owned by China. And by the way, I do not think the United States military will stand by and put up with China invading Taiwan, because Taiwan is a very important strategic location for the United States military. There's a lot of military personnel who have worked with the Taiwanese, and a lot of military equipment sales that go to Taiwan, such as fighter jets. That's right. And a lot of other equipment as well, boats and such, and maybe drones, who knows. Missile systems, though, are a big deal. Shoreline, missile batteries, and so on. So a lot of the weapons companies that influence and effectively determine military policy in the United States, those weapons contractors and corporations, they are earning billions of dollars from sales of equipment to Taiwan, and they certainly don't want that to stop. So even just from a financial point of view, there is a tremendous amount of pressure inside the Pentagon to make sure that Taiwan is defended so that those sales can continue. And Taiwan is a very, prolific manufacturing country full of freedom-loving people. And remember, I used to live in Taiwan. I lived there for 2 years. That's where I learned to speak Mandarin. And the Taiwan people are really amazing people. They love America. They love freedom. They love free markets. They have essentially free democratic elections. They don't have a Second Amendment, sadly, but they are freedom-loving people, and they are worth defending. So that's some of the dynamic that's going on there. Now, given all of this, let me give you my read on what I think is going to be the most likely scenario of what's going to happen over the next 12 months. This is a tough one because, of course, predictions these days are a tough business. I thought that Trump would be in the White House right now, and obviously he's not in the White House right now. Well, he's not in the swamp White House. He's in the second White House, which is Mar-a-Lago, and may end up being way more important anyway. But I was astonished that the level of corruption was so deep that the Biden vote theft managed to succeed thus far. So that did surprise me. That's just shocking, actually, because there was so much overwhelming evidence of vote fraud, and the Supreme Court even, had an opportunity to rule on that, and they punted. But anyway, I'll give you my best read on where I think all of this means we're headed this year, because it's going to be very tumultuous, that's for sure. But first, a platform announcement and a quick discussion about Tor, T-O-R. This is torproject.org. The Tor browser TOR stands for the Onion Router, and they use the Onion because it has layers upon layers upon layers, which explains the packet routing technology underneath Tor browsers. Tor browsers allow you to browse to websites that are publishing on what's called the dark web. And the dark web is a censorship-resistant, privacy-enhanced ecosystem of publishing sites. Now, the Tor software is developed by a nonprofit 501c3 corporation, and this protocol is used to protect your privacy, to stop your tracking, to stop you being tracked, and to stop surveillance of you by governments and corporations, such as Google or the NSA and so on. And the Tor browser is based on the fundamental truth that privacy and freedom are basic human rights. Now, most people believe that the dark web, which is accessible through the Tor browser, is made up of just a bunch of criminals and people selling, pot brownies and things. In fact, in reality, you might be shocked to hear this. The New York Times has a Tor-friendly website and what's called a .onion address. The New York Times does, as do many other publishers, such as the BBC. Why do they have this? Because in many countries, citizens, such as in China, for example, are not allowed to read newspapers from the United States because the local governments want to monopolize the information that they're seeing. North Korea, for example, or Cuba, or many other countries. So by using the Tor browser, you can access information privately and securely in a way that your government can't track what you're reading and viewing and watching. So what I'm announcing today is that my websites, naturalnews.com, as well as Brighteon.com, and many other sites, it'll be a big list, we are launching Tor browser compatible sites which use the .onion extension. We are joining the dark web, but for reasons of light and truth, right? So we're here about providing transparency and truth but we have to join the dark web because extreme censorship is coming. And the Tor browser is one of the browsers that we will be promoting as part of that. And again, that's a nonprofit browser. You can download it right now at Tor Project, that's T-O-R, project.org. You can install it right now, and you can use it to access regular websites right now. But when we publish what's called a .onion URL, you will be able to access that .onion website for natural news through the Tor browser. You won't be able to reach it through other normal browsers such as Firefox or Safari or Chrome or IE or whatever. You'll have to use the Tor browser in order to get to it. So just want to give that announcement right now that we recognize the importance of not just shifting to alternative platforms such as Parler and Gab and so on, or Brighteon, what have you, but even shifting to a surveillance-resistant, censorship-resistant structure of information, which is what the Tor browser and the Onion routing system provides. So we are going in that direction. We'll have announcements coming up soon. We are also, of course, very much in favor of cryptocurrency, and we will be continuing to promote the use of cryptocurrency systems, decentralization of money from the central banks into the hands of peer-to-peer wallets, essentially. We're going to be promoting alternative e-commerce platforms that are based on, well, blockchain technology or crypto technology. And we're going to be announcing other publishing efforts that use peer-to-peer technology to bypass central servers and therefore to bypass centralized censorship. Now, the reason all this matters, and you may already know we have a backup IP address where you can reach us, naturalnews.com. The backup IP is 45.89.97.6. And if you type that into your browser, you'll be able to get to the backup Natural News website. However, there can be IP blocking by ISPs, and this is the reason why it's critical to further move into dark web systems such as the Tor browser and other browsers and other systems that I'll be talking about in upcoming podcasts. So all of you who are enjoying this podcast, you can think about using this technology for yourself. And I also want you to know that we are planning ahead. We are planning for extreme censorship. We are planning for the Biden regime to attempt to criminalize pro-America speech. And when they do that, or they may criminalize, mocking or jokes against transgenders, for example, that I did a couple of days ago, the Transtronaut Spaceballs episode that people found pretty darn funny. Thank you for your feedback on that. So in an oppressive regime, you're not allowed to joke about protected groups. You're not allowed to make jokes. You're not allowed to laugh. You're not allowed to have free speech. And when that comes, if they seize our domain names, we are going to be well ahead. We will have already set up these dark web sites so that you can access our information. And I can continue the podcast, and you can share the MP3 files, secretly, because we're now moving into the era of what you might call a cyber Harriet Tubman. They want to put Harriet Tubman on a $20 bill. And Harriet Tubman, of course, is one of the historic figures of what's called the Underground Railroad. Well,